Saturday, September 20th. Heat. My tree weeps. My beautiful, lacy, weeping cherry blossom tree sobs in front of me, tears falling from its pink petals as I stand underneath its branches. There's no mint under here anymore, although I don't think it's why the tree is crying. The tree cries because the farm is dying. We can't pretend that it isn't happening. The mist now stretches over the lake exactly as it did 4 years ago. If it is protecting the water underneath it, it's not doing a terrific job. The lake is still shining, still crystal blue, but it looks about half full, if we're lucky. The dragonflies have left my tree too, going with the mist over to the lake. Thousands and thousands of sparkling dragonflies still spin their green mist, an army gone to war against the relentless sun. I now believe the mist has good intentions, but it isn't paying off. I'm wearing my emerald ring on my left hand because my right hand started to ache as soon as I walked over here. When we left the hospital tonight, Mom tried to hide the fact that she was crying. Patricia and I didn't say anything either. Now Mom's back at the hospital, this time taking Bassford and Beatrice with her. I came straight over here. I have a theory I need to test. I've been thinking about it ever since we got into the car at the hospital. The whole way home, as Mom pretended to smile and Patricia pretended not to notice, I stared at my crooked finger. Mom was talking about how fun it would be when Freddie returned home from the hospital and how she hoped it would still be warm enough for him to go swimming in the lake. It made me remember that the last time I went swimming with Bassford and Patricia, when Patricia accused me of peeing because the water around me was so warm, which made me think about the bottle I held during science class when the water boiled inside the plastic and I showed Owen my crooked finger, which made me think about last night when I pulled out the booklight from the slug sand and the stream of vapor lifted up from the watery muck. Which is why I'm here, right now at twilight, with my own scientific inquiry. Theory, hypothesis, my crooked finger can create water vapor. Testing, put finger in water and observe if heating causes water vapor to rise. Result? ? Before I walked to the water's edge to test my theory, I turned to the weeping cherry blossom tree's narrow trunk. You're very pretty, I say, which I know sounds dumb, but I don't want to lie and say everything's going to be okay, because I don't know if it is, and I don't want to tell it to stop crying, because there's a part of me that wants to cry right now too. So I do what I think makes sense. I tell my pretty tree that it's pretty, which is not a lie, and which is something a lot of people anyway, like to hear. Then I walk to the water's edge. Without any hesitation, I kneel down and thrust my right hand, the one with the crooked finger, into the water. My chest gets tight and my eyes go wide as I feel a bolt of deep pain, sharp pain strike through my finger, lightening up my arm to my shoulder. I force myself to focus on the water, which has begun to swirl around my hand in small circles. A scant foaming crest appears at the water's surface. Another pang shoots through my arm, but I keep my head swallowed up by the lake as I feel the water grows warmer, as the water grows intensely hot. And then, just like that, I watch something incomprehensible happen, as another electrical ping runs up and down my arm. Very, very slowly, up past my eyes, up to the lowest hanging petal of the cherry blossoms, a trail of vapor starts to rise from the swirling water. I can see it. Thin droplets of water smearing into the air, forming a blotted column of water vapor, just like we learned in science class. The vapor rises up, 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 past my eyes, past my head, moving so high that I have to crane my head back to look at it rising up and through the tree branches. I've never seen a ghost, but I think the vapor might look like one. It's whitish and thin, and if you look at it a certain way, it could look like a very skinny phantom without a face. I forget about the pain in my finger, and I just stare at the vapor continuing to rise up into the air. Then it hits me. Water heats to form vapor. Vapor condenses into ice crystals as it rises. And ice crystals form... Could it be? Ice crystals form a cloud. That's a fact. Ice crystals form a cloud. And from a cloud can come rain. At first I feel a warm sense of triumph seeping through my bones. But just as I'm about to scream from the thrill, from the magic swirling around me, from my very own magic, those bright scissors in my mind return, cutting sharply through another curtain, revealing another truth that is terrible and ugly and true. Aunt Edith has a crooked finger. Aunt Edith could do this. Aunt Edith was doing this. Aunt Edith is deliberately not doing this because Dad told her no. Aunt Edith knew I could do this and didn't tell me. Aunt Edith wants the farm to die. I yank my hand out of the water, falling back onto the shore, trembling. Aunt Edith. My Aunt Edith. I can't help it. I start to cry, and the lacy pink petals of the cherry blossoms start to cry again, too. I sob, and my tree sobs, and it feels as if all I will ever do. But my finger throbs, and it jolts me out of my heartache. My finger. I look back over to the water, watching the tail end of the skinny vapor keep winding its way upward. It is far too skinny to make a cloud. I'm still missing something. I press my eyelids closed, thinking about Aunt Edith, willing her to tell me this one last thing, willing her to tell me how to make it rain on our farm again, willing her to be my savior one more time. But then I feel myself harden, as if that force from before, the one that propelled me to the bench on the anniversary of Grandmom's death, has yanked the controls away from Aunt Edith and switched the focus from her to me. Is it Grandmom? Mr. Emerson? Mother Nature? God? I don't know. I just know the message. Trust thyself, even every heart vibrates to that iron string. I go back to my scientific process, now feeling like a professional scientist. Theory 1. My crooked finger can create clouds. Put finger in water and observe if heating causes vapor water to rise and condense. Result, vapor rises. Kind of. New problems. Vapor too skinny to do much of anything. How can I make the evaporation more powerful? Theory 2. Hypothesis, need to get one.